Basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness. Aye, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, we have to gather wrong, grab a seat and sit down, pay attention. Education, liberation, we have to stand strong. Benskop upon the radio, lively up the program. Everybody call somebody and let them turn and tune and pon the radio and catch the boom song. We boom it up already, we have to boom it up again. Expose and reveal him. Who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benskop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see. The deaf can hear, the dumb can talk, the cripple can walk. Boom, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the truth. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root. Mark Benskop, who tell the truth? Mark Benskop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benskop, radio station is the truth. Mark Benskop, straight up from the root.
You Guyana, me Guyana, land of many waters with 6 races living together. Essequibo, Berbice, and Demerara, the 3 counties that make her Guyana. Berbice, she gave us our great sons, Rohan Kanhai, Kofi and Dr. Jagan. Berbice, she gave us our great sons, Rohan Kanhai, Kofi and Dr. Jagan. Essequibo, well, with gold and diamond, Demerara City under PM Barnum. Essequibo, well, with gold and diamond, Demerara City under PM Barnum. You Guyana, me Guyana, Land of many waters with 60 races living together. In her waters she gave us food. Banga Miri Hasa, Crimson Gilbaka. In her waters she gave us food. Banga Miri Hasa, Crimson Gilbaka. On her land she grow us bread. Planting cassava, rice and sugar. Those are a few that Guyana grew to feed her children like me and you. Fully and black man, Portuguese and white man, Chinese and Bob man, Alawi one. Fully and black man, Portuguese and white man, Chinese and Bob man, Alawi one. You Guyana, me Guyana. Land of many waters with 6 races living together. Come on, man. Ah, beautiful. You Guyana, me Guyana. Land of many waters with 6 races living together. Peace and Demarara, the 3 counties that make her Guyana. For peace she gave us our great sons.
Good evening. It's 9 minutes after 9 o'clock. My name is Mark Benchop, and welcome to Straight Up as we prepare to rock and roll this evening. Lots and lots of things happening in Guyana, and not so good things, horrible things in that beautiful, beautiful country. Um, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Those of you who believe in prayers, right, Arlene? Those of you who believe in prayers, I think we need to do some more praying. Lots and lots of praying, and not just praying, because in the Bible, and I'm sure in the Bhagavad Gita and in the Holy Quran, talks about action. Action. That's what it talks about. I don't know where to start. I don't know where to start. I don't know what to report to you guys. I just don't know, but I will in just about 30 seconds or so. This song, You Guyana, this song, Chutney version, way before. Listen to it, please.
Ruhan Kanhai, Coffee and Dr. Jagan, for these she gave us our great sons. Ruhan Kanhai, Coffee and Dr. Jagan, S.C.Q. Bowell, with gold and diamond. Them are the city and the PM Barnum, S.C.Q. Bowell.
You Guyana, we Guyana. This is the original version, right? Halagala. I'm sure a lot of you guys don't know Halagala. And then it was Terry Gadrach who did a redo of this particular song, You Guyana. He changed up the words. Hi, Terry. But it's the original version, original Chutney. Halagala Records. Hail up to Halagala, his generation. Halagala passed away. All right. Democracy about to pass away, and we got to snatch it back from these demonic individuals. All right. So, Neville, good evening. How are you, sir? Also known as Civic. What's going on?
Mark,
What's going on in Madja, man? What sort of tie these people talking about Civic? What's going on?
thing that suspend, man. I mean, I get no real information here. And I get no the PPP celebrate, but then the man, my next information I comment that the man at the mayor. So it's 4-4. They get 4 seats, we get 4 seats.
Yeah, but let me ask you this, Neville, also known as Civic. What's the word on the ground? Are you guys? Was it possible for the PPP to tie these elections in Madhya? What's happening?
this surprising to me, right? This surprising to the community. But those that gone over that side, right? If they hadn't gone there, what we would have damaged them terribly. But excuse me, we not that bad, man. We not that bad. It's 4-4. We not that bad.
Yeah, but 4-4, we are hearing about rigging because we're big people, Neville. There is a tie in Madhya. There's a tie in Bartica. There was a tie in Plaisance. There was a tie in, I believe, Platanka or somewhere there. These ties are suspicious, man.
Yeah, I ask myself that. How this tire come, man? How? Then you minister them are running the place and play like them can control the polling place. Then certain time you lock the place for we people. You know, there's no fear. There's no fear. There's
And
no fear.
in Madhya, are you guys? And let me just make a quick correction here. Maurice Sukraj, thank you. Mani Hanif, yeah, but I believe it was through Halagala. You know, Halagala was big into the recordings and so forth and so on. So you are on the right track, Maurice Sukraj, concerning the song "Me Guyana, You Guyana." All right, so it's not fair, and you guys are hearing that on the ground. It's a surprise, but we're hearing almost all across the country. In New Amsterdam, we're hearing Georgetown that the PPP has rigged the elections to suit their outcome in a lot of APNU stronghold. What are you guys hearing in Madhya there, sir?
We hearing this similar thing because you see, you ain't getting no official report. You ain't getting it too long. Them not give nothing. You wait. The place tends to a point. You know, the people wandering. Plus, we got the 19 girls are there. Plus, now we have the minister for come for swearing. He going to the police there with some rape charge. Is every day is a problem, pan a problem, pan a problem, pan a problem. By Mark, by you got mind got strong in this country, by. And you look at Linden, you look at New Amsterdam, you look at Region 4, you see that those people send a strong message.
With the
That
billions of dollars that the PPP put into this local government elections campaign, a lot of people are saying they didn't do well at all with the billions of dollars. What is your take on
how
the
they gonna
money?
do well? They're gonna do well because look, I had a discussion with back home, my friends them home. And Stewartville, Lenora, Gronville, Barnwell, Anna Katrina, Cornedy Ida. You got 18,000 some hundred votes supposed to be taking place there. And you only get 3,100 people go out and vote there.
I want you, Civic. I want you for that area, Cornelia, Ida, that particular Leonora. That's the area where Irfan is from.
That's the area where Irfan Ali from. That's the point me try to get over here to, but I skipped the piece to tell it from before
Yeah,
that Irfan Ali lived there.
yeah, and you did mention, and this is a critical part that you said, 18,000 plus voters in that entire stretch in that region, which is Region 3, part of Region 3, about 18,000 votes. And for this local government elections, how many came out again? And you continue, please. 3,000
Just
plus?
a low turnout, a very low turnout because if you look at the guy, the military, the police and them, it's just for 7% them go out and vote, including spoil vote and whatever.
Yeah. And billions
So
of
it's a
dollars they
low
put.
turnout. The people lost, man. The people lost. And I expect this in this country and then with the Isle deal and then the scene for the self that is lies from lies from lies from lies from lies and nothing more. Lies, lies, lies all the time.
A pack
How
of
can we
lies.
live in this?
But what's the talk about GCOM? And let's welcome attorney at law Shalon Washington with us. Good evening, Miss Washington.
Good evening, Mark, and good evening to everyone that's listening to the program tonight.
Yeah, good evening.
Including Civic, our reporter in Madia.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Civic,
GCOM,
go ahead.
GCOM, they don't got no confidence in them, man. Here, next room out there this afternoon. But I'm going to tell you one said, but I'm going to call you and tell you that secretly. That's serious rumor. But I'm going to investigate it before I speak to you.
Absolutely, but billions of dollars, and yet Jack Dale is rushing up and saying that they have done well and they have made inroads. Made inroads where? Where is
Mark is billions of dollars. It's petty cash. It's not billions of dollars. It's petty cash. It's billions of dollars going left for the whole for the grandchildren and great grandchildren pay. That's where the problem there. The
absolutely?
debts.
Civic,
Abiga Island, Abiga this and Abiga done. Abiga not paid debt and Abiga 3 point something billion dollars and every day we borrowing, we begging, we borrowing, we begging. It's what life we live in.
a begging life under the PPP, a begging life under the PPP. Let's bring in Miss.
You have to have, Mark, you ministers them have to have moral and integrity. And if they don't have moral and integrity, your people will become prostitutes. And that is what is happening in this country. Our real wealth is our integrity, our moral. That is our real wealth. I don't understand what is happening. I am fear for my children, my grandchildren. I am fear for them. I don't understand what is happening here. When you're ready, you come here and lend 20,000, 5,000. You divide the people. You give this side, you don't give this side. What really happening? What is going on? Have we got nobody for help everybody? This is the dollar running at 215, 217. It's not case that we dollar going up 23 years that run this country. With this three what and done. And this dollar keep on devalue all the time. With inflation going up, price on the counter, lifting every day. How do we live? We don't want to fight with nobody. We want to eat on the table too. Mr. Bornham and take Gaisuku, Jessel and Boca, and I've been going to bathe in the bathing pool. Me couldn't be a fuel pump technician if me weren't being trained by Gaisuku Diamond Estate. Special white people do that job. We want to wait on, we don't want to fight nobody, buddy. We want a fair play. You ain't getting it.
All right, stick a pin
And
there,
that's the
please.
problem, guys. These people live with. That's why you have to migrate.
Stick a
Go.
pin there. Stick a pin there. Civic, 1 second, please. Thank you. Lots of people in Georgetown who know you are saying good evening to you. Hello to Hazel Austin and others. All of you, good night. Let's welcome Shalon Washington again, attorney at law. Good evening, ma'am. You've been listening for the past few minutes. The sentiments of Civic. It's basically shared by majority of the people in Guyana. Majority of the people in Guyana, punishment, struggling under the PPPC regime, and billions of dollars they've wasted in an elections campaign to bribe people to vote for them. Your take, please.
You know, I've listened to what Civic is saying there, and a lot of it makes a lot of sense. Your integrity is really, really important. And with any political leader, if you have people who have no moral compass or no scruples, the country is at risk of being destroyed. And I know Guyana is is already being torn down to a large extent. And some of the people in Guyana are beginning to recognize what's happening there, and they are taking note of what's going on in Guyana. If there's a lot of sentiments that's being expressed similar to that we heard tonight from Civic, about the government, about the lack of people with integrity. And if you have people who doesn't have or lack integrity and they're just there for themselves to fill their pockets, to take care of themselves and their family, the people in Guyana are going to continue to struggle just as the way we're seeing it right now. It's a struggle. It's a struggle for all Guyanese who are working class. It's not just a struggle for the Afro Guyanese. It's both sides. So if one side is going to look at this and say, well, we don't have to worry, no, both sides are struggling. Indo-Guyanese, Afro-Guyanese, they're all neglected under the PPP as long as they don't share the same political side, you're going to be in the struggle. And even to the ones who are, trying to support the PPP, they themselves are being neglected. Why? Because we have a bunch of politicians, zero integrity, zero morals. They're just there for one agenda. And a lot of them engage in fraudulent conduct, misconduct, and they're allowed by the Guyanese people to continue to sit there in office. Nowhere else in all the developed countries, if you engage in misconduct, you're forced out of office. And we need to adopt the same policy in Guyana. We need to make the PPP accountable. If they cannot stand up and do what is right, if they cannot properly serve the people of Guyana, they must go. And I think the people are beginning to express that sentiment in their votes. We're beginning to see that. And I'm still hopeful that we will see that same type of energy transferred into the general elections. I want the Guyanese start standing up for their rights and forcing those corrupt politicians out of office. They must go, because what we want to see is the wealth must be equally distributed to all Guyanese. We can't have one set of Guyanese becoming wealthy and the poor struggling and becoming worse. The wealth must be distributed equally. They must find a way to take care of the Guyanese who need that sort of help.
Well said, Miss Washington. Before we head back to Civic, who's in Madhya, a tongue that is tied, according to the PPPC, it is tied in the local government elections. 4 seats for the APNU, 4 seats for the PPP. It's highly suspicious. In Bartica, they're claiming that there's a tie also. In Plaisance, there was a tie. In Platanka, there was a tie, or probably still is a tie. All of these ties, suspicious to you, Miss Washington?
Mark, that is obvious, especially Madhya, and Plaisance. These are areas that it's just Bartica. It's just no way that could be any possibility of a tie. And if I'm hearing a tie in areas that I know traditionally it's not possible, if something seems like suspicious to you guys in Guyana, then it probably is. It doesn't seem right. So with all these ties that I'm hearing about, I don't think so. I think there's something more than a tie going on under the surface. And I think we've been hearing about it before the election, fraudulent conduct on the part of the PPP. We've been hearing about people voting who live abroad. They're not even in Guyana. We've been seeing the list with dead voters and people who don't even exist. So that is highly suspicious when I see areas that are traditionally PNC and I'm hearing there's a tie. I am very suspicious.
Very suspicious indeed. Hopefully we'll be rejoined by Civic, who seem to be having some sort of the usual internet problem. Let's see if we have him back again. No, we don't. Internet problem. Hope that our guest out in Madhya will be able to join us again. And those of you who are now joining us, good evening and welcome to Straight Up. GCOM has not uttered a word. There was no press conference, nothing. The chairman of GCOM is quiet. They seem to be granting the PPP all their wishes, every single thing from recon to everything, and nothing, for the most part, nothing for APNU, the opposition. Your take on the operations and this sort of questionable conduct and behavior coming from the chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission.
Not surprising. Not This is nothing new to the people in Guyana. We've seen this, many times in the past. The way Claudette Singh operates, and she needs to be transparent. The people of Guyana are entitled to answers. They need to know what's going on. They need to know why the hold up on releasing results. They need to GCOM need to come out and say something to the people of Ghana. They owe the people of Ghana answers. And no, there's no reason why this should be taking such a long time and GCOM remaining silent, unless there's something cooking in the books right now, which we know is very, very possible. There could be something cooking in the books right now, given the history, given the history of GCOM and the person who's leading GCOM at this point. We know that there must be something sinister that is happening for GCOM to be silent at this time.
Let's head back to Civic. Glad to have you back again, Civic. In Madhya, I'm sure the people you have mentioned in your opening remarks that you guys are not getting any information. GCOM is not providing any information. What's your take? You're a veteran when it comes to elections and so forth. What is your take, sir?
Me take is if they can get a low turnout. Before I said earlier, I said this thing here. Council shall on a laugh, this thing not laugh, this thing on serious business. This thing a serious business. Them they got low turnout and them can't verify that what your days done. When the general election come, how much money they gonna take for verify that now? Now next thing, this tie, a tie or a lie all the time. Not tie, a lie. Man, I know tie. How you tie all the time? Tie. A lie, buddy.
Not tie.
When people win, this country divide. And the masses of people are struggling in this country. So how can they go on the government side? They will not be going on the government side if the PNC was in power and they do the same. The people will not be going on them side. The Guyanese people are stupid. Them not stupid people. If Guyanese people are stupid people, all them few Rastaman and what go on and live there bribe the people and the tax openness. You see what go on there? The people show the dignity there. So the Elections Commission, retired Justice Claudette Singh, I think she really need to retire. Yeah, brethren, she really need to retire, This is problem. She put in the country tense. You can create more problems. Now with this now, the minister now gone and gets himself involved in some alleged rape by some Amerindian. Now you forget that this 19 Amerindian children born up the other day. And you got the spirit and the anger and the want, the lust for attack these people children in dumb manner rather than helping them. Bear in mind, alleged.
Gotcha, Civic. Yes. Thanks. And that was the next subject matter up to discuss, Ms. Washington. Allegations, and thank you again, Civic, allegations that a sitting minister of the installed PPP regime, Nigel Dharamlal, who is the Minister of Local Government, is accused of raping a 16-year-old girl. He's still on the job. We heard earlier, Irfan Ali said the matter is going to be investigated. But while there is this supposed investigation, Dharamlal should be removed as the Minister of Local Government Elections. Now, we cannot take Irfan Ali's word for what it is, because we have heard the same thing. We heard him talk about investigating Jack Dale for the fraud that Sue spoke about. Nothing came out of that. No investigations, nothing. We heard about a COI for the 19 girls and one little boy, 20 persons, young people, died as a result of that horrific fire in Madhya. We heard that there was going to be an investigation, a COI. Nothing to this day. Let's get your input, please, Ms. Washington, on this serious allegations of rape being leveled against a sitting government minister. Your take, ma'am.
I think in most civilized society and also democratic society, where there's a public official, a sitting minister in government office, and there's allegations, serious allegations, because these are very serious allegations, Mark, because in a country like the United States, this is a felony charge that this sitting minister would be looking at, a potential felony charge. And I think when there's such serious allegations against a public official, I think the most decent thing to do is that that minister should voluntarily step down, or those who are in charge, for instance, President Ali, should do the right thing and ask him to step aside, require that he be suspended without pay or he be removed temporarily from office while this very serious crime is being investigated. Because this is the sort of crime that would warrant a preliminary inquiry, and then if there's sufficient evidence, then there's it takes it to the high court. Serious charges of rape. Rape is a very, 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 very serious offense. And if these allegations are proven to have any merits to it, then this official has no business continuing to sit and serve the people of Ghana. And that's the problem with Guyanese. We are complacent and we condone conduct which ought to be reprimanded and be dealt with very, very seriously. And this sitting minister need to step down, and there need to be an acting, somebody acting in his place while these very serious allegations are investigated. They need to be investigated. But we do understand this is the corrupt society Guyana operate in, where, you know, if money talks. So we know that chances are somebody's going to be paid, and this is eventually going to be swept under the rug, and we're going to hear nothing about this very, very soon. Instead of serious allegations like this being investigated, we sit idly and allow these very people to serve us, people whose integrity is questionable. And, you know, we heard Civic said earlier that we need officials with integrity and must have some sort of moral compass in order to sit and serve the people. We can't just take any person. You know, these allegations are serious, and I doubt, I mean, I don't know sufficient about it to speak on the criminality of the official conduct, of his conduct. I don't know, so I don't have sufficient information to say whether or not, you know, there need to be the charges, there's sufficient allegations that charges ought to be laid against him. But the police have that complaint. The police are privy to it. So they know whether or not there should be charges, and then a preliminary inquiry to determine, you know, the extent to which or what type of charges should be laid, whether it should go to the high court and you should be tried as a criminal there. I don't know. But as far as I'm aware, these allegations need to be taken very, very seriously. And the people of Guyana need to hold these people accountable. They need to hold Irfan Ali accountable. He's sitting there. He is the sitting president, and he needs to hold those who he has placed in office or who are serving under him to be accountable also. And this needs to be dealt with very, very seriously. And it shouldn't be swept under the rug like all the other allegations we have heard in the past.
You know, Irfan Ali said, and this is where, and thank you so much, Ms. Washington, before we head back to Civic on this matter, Irfan Ali said, no tolerance for misconduct. We have seen and we have heard a lot of misconduct under the PPPC installed regime. This is the very minister, installed minister, who said in the National Assembly as you referenced towards a female opposition MP, that she probably, from my recollection, she needs a dildo. In the National Assembly, he said she needs a dildo. This is the very minister who, not so long ago, similar allegations were leveled against him. This time around, it's a 16-year-old girl in Guyana. I'm advised that the little girl is traumatized and she's currently undergoing counseling. And so we have to be very careful what we say and do on social media. I saw on someone's platform there was a photograph of the young lady, the little girl, I would say, was being circulated. Her photograph was exposed. Please, you guys, refrain from doing this. Do not be, do not be so insensitive. Also, do not play the victim, blame the victim kind of role. Don't blame the victim at all in this. Just do not do that. But getting back to what Irfan Ali said, action speaks louder than words. Irfan Ali says, no tolerance for misconduct. And this is in response to allegations against Dharam Lal. Irfan Ali has said, again, here, as a government, well, he meant an installed government, we are committed to having any facts fully investigated as we hold dearly our girls and women in every community, blah, 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 blah. Hold dearly our girls and women in every community. This is the same man who went to Linden and talked about blow. This is the same man in front of a bunch of little girls. This is the same man who went to New Amsterdam and talked about wood, who taking wood and who get wood and all these manner of things. So again, we go back to what Civic has said. We go back to what you have said also in terms of morals. None whatsoever from these Nimakarams in the PPP. Civic, your take, sir, on these serious allegations leveled against a sitting minister.
They think too steady with this minister, man. This thing that they go in parliament and tell the woman a dildo, she want a dildo, or now is the next story with this minister. This minister is too, forceful with illegal activity. You look at it. And he got a whole set of burden on his head because he's the local government minister. He in charge of this area. And what they supposed to do is to come and work on the matter with the dams and the people in the school. And then not work. Now our next story here with this little girl again with the what the president gonna do now? Now the president said one different thing the president asked. You gotta be effective. You gotta let people get confident in you. Find time to come to you here, so you should get on to you executive them and call the matter the commissioner of police, investigate this matter, take this man off the job. The executive them weak in the party. This is the problem we got. You got a man who come here. This man know how politics, how the PPP build with Mr. Boredom and Jagan. He know the moral and integrity the man that carry through in the party. And what's the man said, dirty this party? PNC got some of the same thing. We don't need that kind of attitude. You gotta get clean people. Truth you want. A matter like this, Irfan as a Muslim, I know Irfan family. And I tell you personally, Uncle K is he not take them thing there. Don't care them thing to he. But me not understand what go on now. And hold on and again, integrity, value. You can't do nothing here. Is the greed gonna continue all the time in every angle. And then next social media one and slap some little buying some half from child is some half an age. It's problem every day in this country. Serious problem to concerning children, women, accident. Watch, why they run over a lady foot? Run over the lady, come out the car, go back to the woman. Like he appears, like he tell the people and bring she in the car. When the people go, a bike go for help the lady, drive me and left the lady.
Civic, let's take a pin there. Let's head back to Miss Washington. Points well taken there, Civic. Can't disagree with you at all, sir. Miss Washington, what's the first step in this investigation? We're hearing that Irfan Ali is saying that there's no tolerance and that this matter will be investigated. The first step, in my opinion, this accused, the minister, should be removed from his position. You're the lawyer here. I'm not. Civic isn't. But your take on what should be the first steps?
I absolutely agree. He should be removed, or he should voluntarily step down while the investigation is being conducted. Because one of the reasons why it's most important that a public official be removed or suspended, or they're not in that particular position at the time when serious allegations are being investigated against them, is so that there is the appearance of impartiality, and that it doesn't appear to the public that that official is using their platform to influence the outcome of that investigation. But of course, Guyanese are not aware of this. Of course, Ifran Ali is ignorant of this, and this is why he just came out and say that it's going to be investigated and misconduct is not going to be tolerated. But how is misconduct not going to be tolerated when you are tolerating it, sir? You do have that minister still sitting there, still serving the people of Ghana. How do you expect that misconduct is not tolerated if you allow him to continue to sit there to serve the people while an active investigation against the minister's own misconduct is being carried out? So the very appearance of this, Ifan Ali should know that there is actual misconduct being tolerated by the PPP. The PPP is known for tolerating misconduct from minister or public official. Nigel Dar Malal, or whatever his name is, he is in fact giving the appearance to the Guyanese people that misconduct, allegations of criminal conduct is tolerated in Ghana, because he's still allowed and occupy that position while an active investigation, a criminal one at that, is being taking place against him, and no one is speaking up about it. The president casually comes and say misconduct will not be tolerated and it will be investigated. Yes, sir, but he's still sitting there. The minister is still sitting in his position right now while the investigation, and he still has the ability to influence the outcome of that investigation. He still has the ability to call the police commissioner and tell them to drop it, or to pay somebody and push things under the rug, because he's still sitting in a position where he can influence the outcome of an investigation. And this is why Guyana is so corrupt, and this is why we need changes. The PPP and their corrupt practices must go. We must hush them through the door, push them through the door, and bring in a fresh breed of politics where it is transparent, where we have the appearance where things are going in a transparent manner, where people are held accountable for their conduct, and we're not just condoning it like we see Ifan Ali is doing. Ifan Ali is condoning. He's telling the people of Ghana, it's okay that you have serious allegations of criminal conduct against you. It's okay, you can stay and sit in your public position. It's okay that you could keep serving the people of Ghana where there's serious allegations of criminality, criminal conduct being alleged against that person. It's a shame. And Ifan Ali himself shouldn't even be serving the people of Ghana. He's not even fit, because this is the type of people he encourages or allow to continue to occupy public office.
Well said, Miss Washington. 46 minutes after 9 o'clock. Can't disagree with anything you have said there. We'll get back to Civic shortly. Lawrence Stahl is saying, every goddamn day in Guyana. I feel your frustration, Lauren. I feel, in fact, we all feel your frustration. Every goddamn day in Guyana. I don't know. Look, before we get back to Civic, let me say this. That Irfan Ali is not serious about what he said. Civic indicated that. You have touched on it too, Miss Washington. If Irfan Ali was serious, Irfan Ali would have gotten on television or radio or whatever, call an immediate press conference, an emergency press conference, sorry, and say to the nation, as the installed president, I am in receipt of a letter from someone who says that she's a victim of one of my ministers. The allegation is a serious one, that of rape. It is something that I will not tolerate in my administration. And with immediate effect, I have asked my minister to resign temporarily, pending the outcome of the investigation. In the interim, such and such person will be overseeing the Ministry of Local Government. Nothing of the sort. What we heard from Irfan Ali in this sensitive matter is BS, a bunch of baloney, and people are not buying it. Action speaks louder than word. Civic.
You see, you gotta understand the dynamics that come from Freedom House, you know. Jack Davis is the General Secretary, you know. And how you see them a run for this, run in this country. Irfan Ali is not no boss. Jack Davis is the boss. Jack Davis is the General Secretary. Jack Davis can call no confidence in Freedom House against Irfan Ali. And vote you out of them, feed it to Parliament. I'm no confidence. 3-month time election again. So you gotta understand the dynamics of politics from Freedom House. The leadership. So he still gotta wait for Jack the week. You see it, man. You see it. I mean, it's stupid. I've been play politics before you found Bar and Jack the Bar.
We're not stupid at all, Civic. You are right about that. And Irfan Ali should not be taken seriously at all.
That's what he's saying. He should not be. Well, me Irfan Ali, me go up with Irfan Ali, the president of this country, grandfather and father, me and the neighbor. Them know that. The people in Lebanon know that, yes, Neville been and live there. Couchai son.
It's Neville. Irfan Ali is not serious, as we have been saying all along.
If Irfan is serious and the president, he would have sanctioned the real. He would have helped we. But he not help we.
Got you, Civic. Let's go here to Commissioner Cole, and then we'll
One
go
more
back
thing
to
I want to say. One more thing I want to say, man.
Sure.
What?
Go ahead.
I did begging Irfan for come here 2 years ago. Me and my granddaughter protest in school. And begging Irfan for come here. And they never came. And Irfan came here with some casket to bury those people's children. And now a girl is shouting rape. He as the president should have gone to that. Don't wait till she dead for come bring casket. Go to that. You is a boss. Your position is a real boss. You got immunity. You is a king. Go to it. But when you look back at the dynamics, you see that Vice President Barra Jagdeo is the General Secretary for the People's Progressive Party. So, that gave him the iron fist. You see the point?
Got you there, Civic. Let's get
good.
Point well taken. Thank you.
Yeah.
Before we get back to Miss Washington, let me welcome those of you who now join us. Good evening to all of you. Commissioner Cole is saying, and Commissioner Cole is a rights activist in Guyana as well, has been there on the ground, doing a tremendous amount of work amongst the Guyanese people. I salute you, Miss Cole. Miss Cole is saying here, and this is something from Gordon Mosley news site, and the Village Voice News has it as well, so you guys can visit the Village Voice News too. Commissioner Cole is saying the Ministry of Education should not be meeting with this child, period. And I agree with you because they were privy to this information. The Minister of Education was busy all over the place campaigning, giving out bribe money through, 40,000 through school cash grant, which is elections bribe money. But anyways, Miss Cole continues here. The rape allegation is serious and suicide can occur. There are reports that the minister have reached out to the parents of the child to get her to recant. Yes, Attorney Washington, the interference is occurring as we speak. It's despicable. It is despicable. Thank you so much, Miss Cole. And now, my understanding, someone reached out to me to say that the child is undergoing counseling at this point in time, and it's horrible. Her situation is horrible. A credible person reached out to me to say, this is what is happening now, Mark, and describe to some extent how the little girl is feeling. It is horrible. This is a true story. And the so-called minister must face justice, must face the law. But we cannot have this throw water and ducks back remarks coming from Irfan Ali about intolerance. They have been harboring and they have been tolerating this thing by their ministers and their officials for a long time now. Some of them in the government are convicts. We know who those individuals are. We know what they have done. We know what they have been accused of doing. But yet they're there. And Irfan Ali wants to tell us, without any action, that he is intolerant, or there is no tolerance in his rigged, installed regime. Now, I hope when some lawyers get involved in trying to get justice for this young lady, this girl, that these lawyers are credible lawyers who understands how to fight these cases and not just present themselves as though they have what it takes to get involved in these. Not any sort of lawyers or kunumunu should get involved in this case. It's a very, very, very sensitive matter. And to get some lawyers like to get involved so that they could take information and sell it back to the other side, all manner of corruption. So I hope those who are responsible for this little girl would get her a proper battery of lawyers. Ms. Washington, sorry that I went on for so long, but your take again, please, ma'am.
Well, I think mostly this child would need an attorney to represent her in a possible civil claim against against the minister in his official capacity and also in his personal capacity if he has any assets. I don't know if he has any assets, but if he do, the family of this young girl should file a lawsuit against him in his official capacity and in his personal capacity. One of the things is, as it relates to the criminal aspect of it, the DPP would be the person they would be the ones who would have to step in and to file any criminal charges against this minister. And I think once the investigation is done, which I have zero confidence in the police to properly investigate this type of allegations. I guess if there's medical to support the child's allegations, it would make for a stronger case. But one of the things is we have to look out for if they're already trying to influence these people into silencing them, not to speak their truth, not to allow that young girl to get justice for what happened to her, I think that is something that we have to be very vigilant about, with them trying to pay or silence this young woman's by trying to influence her family. And this is one of the reasons why that minister needs to step down. He needs to step down while this is being investigated, while the police are gathering their evidence to determine whether or not there's sufficient evidence to lay charges against the minister. I believe there may be very well be sufficient charges, because allegations of rape, I mean, it could be very easily verified. They can speak to friends, family, people who might have seen the two of them together, people who would know that this minister actually had a meeting at some point or some place with this young child. There's ways to verify this. There's text messages. They can check the phones. They could figure out how and when he met with this young girl. There's ways and means of getting evidence in this day and age where technology is widely used. They could just very well take his phone and do searches on his phone. And even if he deleted text messages, those could easily be retrieved. The phone company are oftentimes used to retrieve evidence or retrieve information. And the young woman may have had a phone. There may be very well a number of ways to gather information to determine the culpability of this minister in these allegations. Rape is very, very serious, like I said, but it's really imperative that he must step down. And I think people need to start protesting that he should be relieved of his duties at this time while this investigation is still pending. He needs to step down so that they could be an impartial investigation into these allegations and some sort of this young woman. If the allegations are proven to be true, because she is a minor, then there can be some sort of justice in terms of the criminal aspect. And then later her family could very well file a civil lawsuit against the Ministry of Education, against the minister and whoever else might be responsible for the rape.
Well said, Miss Washington. 59 minutes after 9 o'clock. I saw somebody made a comment stating that she is also preparing to write CXC. It's obvious that under the condition and circumstances, I doubt she would be able to be in a good frame of mind to write CXC. But you spoke of a protest and people coming out and so forth. Monday, the 19th of June, that is this coming Monday, from 12 noon to 1 p.m. I don't know why 12 noon to 1 p.m. It should have been early in the morning until late in the night. Thousands of people should gather in front of Dharam Lal's office. However, there will be a protest Monday from 12 noon to 1 p.m. It shouldn't be for 1 hour. It should be for, anyways, it will be in front of the Ministry of Local Government, 4th Street, Kingston. A protest Monday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. I don't know these 1 hour protests and just go out and protest for 1 hour. It doesn't add up. You should protest from early, soon as we say in Guyana, as soon as day break, that's it. Thousands of people should be in front of his office. And then let's not forget about the rigging of elections also. That thousands of people should be in front of GCOM's office also. Let us not run away from the rigging of elections to this situation. Of course, this situation is very, very sensitive. Very sensitive. And I agree and support this protest 100%. But we must also not go to sleep and forget that the PPP has rigged the elections too. So we should also have two protests going on. Look, according to my information, Sleep-In Hotel, or whatever they call it, motel or hotel, may have information about or video information about the little girl and this controversial minister. Hopefully that they would be subpoena as well. Over to you, Civic, as we prepare to close off. Back to you, Civic.
Well, we gotta wait and see what they're gonna say and see what protests gonna carry through. But this is the time for Mr. Lennox Schumann. He disappeared.
No. Wait a minute. We don't want Lennox Schumann's name is calling. And apparently Lennox Schumann warned, apparently, according to what the young girl said, warned another young girl not to be in contact with Dharam Lal, to stay away from Dharam Lal.
But Mark, let me
Schumann,
say,
one second, Miss White. Schumann himself has had allegations of little girls. So I don't know what's happening there. But
you
go ahead,
know,
Miss Washington. Sorry.
yeah, I wanted to say something because a lot of times, very often, when you air allegations of this nature and it becomes public, it's exposed. That's not the first time somebody would have done something like this. I mean, of course, we're going to say it's allegations right now, but I'm pretty sure if people were honest, other young girls could possibly come forward with the same exact type of allegations, and we would know that we were looking the whole time at a situation of a potential pedophilia. We might have had a pedophile in office the whole time because, truth be told, there
But
might
there are
be
some. There
other
are some. There are some.
there might be other young women, young girls who can come forward with the same type of allegations. But for fear of exposing themselves, for the shame of it, a lot of times Guyanese, they don't want to come and tell their truth because of the shame of ridicule. Because you said it earlier, people are posting. Guyanese are so insensitive, they blame the victim. So they're taking the victim's photo and they're publishing it, exposing this young woman online when really we as the people of Ghana should be protecting that young girl, and we should be exposing the minister, exposing the perpetrator, not the victim. The victim needs to be protected because if all the other people who might have experienced something similar should come forward, we might have a whole slew of allegations against this minister. And I wish other potential victims would step forward so we would really know what's really going on. I wish other people would be honest and come forward with their story. Because if by chance the people of Ghana have a pedophile in office, and this is just alleged, I'm not saying for sure, I just want to be cautious here. But if we can prove or establish that there's a pedophile in office allowed to serve the people of Ghana, this is serious. And we have got to get busy with being watchful over this type of conduct and this type of gangster, this type of thugs serving the people of Ghana. We shouldn't have it at all.
Well said, Miss Washington. Again, we are calling on Irfan Ali if he has any drop of moral blood in him to do the right thing. We know that he doesn't have a history of doing what is right. And we know that he came out and he gave a statement, and that statement is basically hogwash. That this guy should be removed with immediate effect pending the outcome of the investigations. There are allegations, yes, but he must be removed in order for a proper, independent investigation to be conducted. So he must go. Um, this, a lot of folks probably recall or may not recall, in terms of corruption and so forth, not just corruption in Guyana, but there was a reason why the U.S. revoked his visa, his U.S. visa. The U.S. revoked his visa, I believe back in 2017 or something, along with Dharam Kumar Siraj. But Nigel Dharamlal's visa, U.S. visa, was revoked. However, he had a special type of maybe a diplomatic visa that he was able to travel to the U.S. with. And there was another level of controversies, according to what we have heard also on social media, but not like this one we're hearing right now. So I'm thinking here that there's a high possibility that the US, the Canadians, and the British will seek to revoke his visa again. Having said that, Irfan Ali, you need to do what is right and ensure that this man is removed from office with immediate effect. Before we close out this evening on this particular matter, Any one of you, Civic, do you have anything else to say in closing on this matter? And Miss Washington?
Me got to say exactly what you guys say. He said, don't let the investigation go through.
Thank you, Civic.
He got stepped down.
Miss
He too
Washington?
steady with his thing. He can't do we woman folks them thing in this country. You know, you can remember when I been and drag up me wife in me house and I want sex the house lot and all them thing there. And she back me and doubt me. And 3 years after, Jack, you have to dismiss the same man. Then keep the low. These are things and they should have blow it up. But whenever claim them price, them a hide them price. All you minister then can't go there. And you try to save that. Now this minister, he always got a problem with woman. You don't need that. You don't need that. You need justice into the matter. I love you so far the matter go. You got to step down.
Where is
This is
Priya?
nonsense to go on. Every day one problem, every day one problem, every day one problem by. Every day, some not something, some not something.
So true. And you know, Priya has a big mouth, and every day she loves to mouth off herself, but she seemed to be quiet, very, very quiet now on these matters.
I don't
She they
think
get out of the embassy so she can't go to people place though.
I don't think Priya
She
really
can't go to
care.
people place. So they
I do not think Mark Priya really care about the students that she's supposed to be serving as the minister over the entire all of the school districts in Ghana. I don't think she really knows her responsibilities as the minister of education. So I think that's why she's silent. And I think what really needs to happen, this Dharam Lal needs to be restrained. Him and any third party on his behalf need to be restrained from contacting or having any connection with the victim or the victim's family so that they would not try to influence these people by paying them any money to silence them. Guyana need to know about the thugs that they have leading them in office. They need to be aware of it. And the information, the investigation need to be thorough and needs to be impartial without any influence from this corrupt or allegedly corrupt convicted or criminal minister. Well, he's not convicted yet, but a minister that criminal conduct is alleged against. He need not try to influence the outcome of this investigation.
you know,
Darren,
Mark, I want to say something.
go
This
ahead, Civic.
I happen to know the ERC chairman, Sheikh Muinolat. I happen to know the guy. And this issue, he Sheikh, that's the DPP husband. This is the ERC chairman. He need to get into this matter. I don't know if he's still the president for the CIOG. But these are matter to do this their job. This is his job. These are matter to look into, get it done. Fear.
Thank you so much, Civic. As we prepare to wrap up this evening, Sheikh Mohak Haq is actually the chairman of the Ethnic Relations Commission. His wife is the DPP. Obviously, some controversial rulings she has made there. I have absolutely no confidence in her. But what we want and what the people want is justice. And it should start with the removal of Dharamlal, Nigel Dharamlal, from office with immediate effect. The other thing that I don't understand how it works, that such a situation, people are gonna go in front of Nigel's office, Dharamlal's office, that is, from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock, and then they leave and go home. I don't know. That's not the kind of protest that we need for these matters. And not to forget the corruption and the rigging of elections and the silence of GCOM. We can't have protests from 12 to 1. We got to have real protests with thousands of people, thousands upon thousands of people. The protest is not a 1 hour picnic. I don't know how much that's going to do, but I'm still in support of it. but I'm not in support of that kind of 1 hour protest. I don't know, Civic, we are old now, man. We seem to have retired from protesting, but that not Abby kind protest. 1 hour. Go
No,
from
I've been retire. No, I've been retire, Mark. Well, you don't understand inflation and devaluation got the people every day they gotta go for bread.
1 hour protest. Miss Washington, as we prepare to close off, thank you, Civic. But before we go, as we prepare to close off, anything else on this particular serious matter?
I think I've said all that I needed to say about that matter, Mark. And like you said, Dharam Lal needs to be removed with immediate effect from office. And the people of Ghana need to press that should happen. It must happen. And a thorough investigation. And if there is found that there's other underage girls that something similar has happened to, all of those need to be taken into consideration, and he should be brought to justice. He needs to be prosecuted if there's overwhelming evidence against him.
Thank you so much, Miss Washington. And Civic, before we go, let's get back to this as we close off. I got a message from this person out in Region 6. The person is saying here, now we met with the REO yesterday and didn't sign back a contract. Instead, we were told that the office don't have work for us after a whole year. After a whole year. Now they're sending us out in the fields on chopped bush, knowing that it's very hard task. This in this sun is not easy at all, and whole day we have to be in the fields. Now, this is a note from a contract worker in Region 6. Immediately after the regional elections, they fired these people. They're done with them. Use them and dump them. Civic, close off with that, please. Your take on how these part-time workers have been used by Jack Dave and the PPP. Close off with that, please, Civic.
Them accept them thing now. How me not accept them thing now? How you not accept them thing now? How my body not accept certain things? They accept those things. Now run with flour and full of the man his neck. And the man is a punish and struggling, hungry, picking them. You got to stand up and speak, but they fear. They fear the community they live in. The rich got them as enemy anytime they talk in the private sector, they with the government. They can't say not. You become an enemy to John public. But it's a penny for pound flesh situation. And a 14-ounce pound when they take the money to the counter. It's a robbery for a robbery for a robbery. What $40,000 can do to anybody? What $100,000 a month can do to a family in this country? You can't eat much, you can't tell back, you can't wear nothing proper there. You struggle all your life. It's a brain about to budget that money. And there's a situation guys in people live in, and they get in the big salary. You voting for make them king. And when you go back them at the gate, then turn them back for you. There's the situation is so them 40,000 you see them collect for 10. They work that. They have a batak mati that side, this side, forget the work. The people who you gotta understand the people the greed is so bad for the brain. They don't know about the sacrifice. And there's the position with them. The PPP or next religion myself. And they got to worship the religion. They got to go to that God. The Murti in the house, the Muma Daddy never put some flower on them. And that's why these people just misleading, showing what go on, misleading the people, teaching the children. The righteousness, they not teach them. The truthfulness, they not teach them. They will learn for exploit. Lies. Mark, by this thing is the people want education. And it's hard for them yet. They can't buy that. Next thing, integrity, decency, the expensive, the Kohinoor. You can't buy that. That's what my guy is.
Thank you, Civic.
Decency,
Thank you.
moral is Kohinoor. They can't get that. That's a diamond. Expensive. And if you don't build on that body, by me sad by me no know by me get understand this thing. It's 22 years when you see the knock me down there. Then me say what this? And that's me study, then me see valuation, me different people teach me and show me. They wouldn't get the chance. Like what me get, me alone a civic. They got no more civic like me. Me sorry for them. They got to develop their knowledge. And if they don't develop their knowledge, poverty, disease, everything lack them. I be going for sugar, pick up on sugar, buy. What big up on the sugar estate? Nothing. We go get think my no, we gotta make the sacrifice. But don't want ten, they walk in the cave this one get. And you kill forget a 10 they walk.
Thank
But
you.
you get $40,000 a month, then people get 40 million a month.
Thank you, Civic. Thank you so much. And give my regards to your loving family as well, your son Amit and your grandkids. Miss
Yeah, brother.
Washington, Miss Washington, thank you, Civic, again. Stay strong. my
Yeah,
friend.
brother. Good night to all. Miss Washington, see you take care.
Good night, Civic. God bless
Let's fight. We not give it up.
Thank you, Civic. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And thank you for all that you've done during the course of the local government campaign, you and your family. Thank you. I saw you at the final
We
night.
still got no more every day on problem, Mark. Every day on problem. Me got still go do. Plus the problem with the darbs, the school, not solve it.
No. Promise by air finale for a COI. Nothing as yet. Absolutely nothing. But thank you, though, Civic. Thank you.
Yeah, Mark, take care. Good night to the
Thank you, my
public and
friend.
you.
Good night.
Yeah, we
Appreciate
see
it.
each other.
Yeah, definitely, Civic. All right, Miss Washington, Civic, there all the way in Madhya. You heard what he said about the part-time workers and the disrespect. Now these part-time workers are getting from the PPP. Jack Deere denied it. This person made contact with me. Of course, I'm not going to show the person's name, but this is a real person is complaining about the type of work that they're forced to do, and a lot of them are not given the contract that they were promised. Ms. Washington, as we close off, your take on this, please.
The PPP has a history of using and abusing the people of Ghana. And when they're done using and abusing them, they usually step on them. So, I mean, this is really not surprising what the PPP is doing, refusing to offer the type of contract these workers are entitled to. It just shows the conduct of our government towards the people of Ghana. And the people of Ghana need to recognize that when the PPP need you, they wear a facade to deceive you. And once they're done deceiving, it's just like when the local elections was coming up. They tried to deceive the people by giving them money and offering them the red shirt and trying to persuade them to step over on the other side. And once the election is over, once they're done using the people of Ghana, they usually just step all over them because they have no more uses for you. And this is exactly what has happened to those workers. The PPP refuses to renew the contract, refuses to treat them like human beings, refuses to even give them any personal protective gear. Because as you can see, the workers are complaining that they were given no boots, no gloves, nothing to protect themselves to perform the work that they were offered to do. And this is the conduct. This is the way the PPP is accustomed to treating the people of Guyana, to use them, abuse them, and then to step on them. And if the people of Guyana cannot wake up in time and recognize that you need a change. And this is what Civic was talking about earlier when he said that the people of Guyana are not stupid. They can see when they're being used. They can see when they're being abused, and they know when it's time for changes. like any democratic society here in the United States, people vote either Democrat or Republican based on what the party is doing for them. And if the party is not fulfilling the needs of the people, if they're not working on behalf of the people will vote them out. And it's the same thing Guyanese need to wake up and recognize: when the PPP is working adverse to your own self-interest, you've got to wake up, get up, and get them out of office. And that's where we're heading. And that's the way they're treating these employees. That's we need to wake up, recognize, and take a full turn, take a 90 degrees turn. Having said that, guys, I want to thank you again tonight, Mark, for having me on the show. I want to thank all of your listeners, all the people who are here, who shared the live tonight and who contributed, because I can read your comments. Guy, I read your comments every night I come here. I see what all of you are saying, and I thank you for your input. It's recognized, even though sometimes I don't mention it, but I'm recognizing that, a lot of you are waking up and you're conscious, you're awoken. So you're recognizing what is happening in our country, and you're aware of it. And now that we're aware, we need to take steps to correct it. We have to correct the situation with our beloved country. We have to ensure that our country is a better place for our future generations. That's why we have to take steps. We got to go and we got to vote the PPP out. PPP have no place in leadership with all those thugs that we see in public offices. We need to get them out. Thank you guys for all your support. Thank you for listening in. Mark, thank you for having me here again tonight.
And thank you so much, Miss Washington. Have a great weekend and congratulations. I've noticed that your child graduated this week. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mark. My son graduated middle school, so he's now going to go to high school.
That's a big, and it's a real school too, right? And then he goes after a real high school. Then he goes after a real university too. And then he can be a real president, unlike some other people that we know, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No,
Congratulations.
exists. I thought university.
Give my regards to the folks at your law firm as well. All of them there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Yep, sorry about that. Miss Washington there for you. And have yourselves a great weekend. We will be back if there's a need tomorrow. But if not, we will be monitoring the entire situation with Nigel Dharamlal, the controversial Minister of Local Government. And we maintain that he should be removed from office with immediate effect pending the outcome of the investigation. So that's it for us this evening. Again, have yourselves a wonderful rest of the night. It's Friday night. Be safe, whatever you do. And again, thanks to our guest, Miss Washington, and also Civic. God bless you all, and continue to pray for our country. Rigged elections, allegations of minister raping a little girl, all manner of things happening in that country. We've got to pray and probably do more than just praying. God bless you.
So, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
You Guyana, me Guyana, Land of many waters with 6 races living together. You Guyana, me Guyana, land of many waters with 6 races living together. Essequibo, Berbice, and Demerara, the 3 counties that make her Guyana. Berbice, she gave us our great sons, Rohan Kanhai, Kofi and Dr. Jagan. Berbice, she gave us our great sons, Rohan Kanhai, Kofi and Dr. Jagan. Essequibo, well, with gold and diamond. Demerara City under PM Barnum. SQ Powell with gold and diamond. Demerara City under PM Barnum. You Guyana, me Guyana. Land of many waters with 6 races living together. In her waters she gave us food. Banga Miri Hasa, Crimson Gilbaka. In her waters she gave us food. Banga Miri Hasa, Crimson Gilbaka. On her land she grow us bread. Planting cassava, rice and sugar. Those are a few that Guyana grew to feed her. You Guyana, me Guyana, land of many waters with 6 races living together. You Guyana, me Guyana, land of many waters with 6 races living together. Essequibo, Berbice, and Demerara, the 3 counties that make her Guyana. Berbice, she gave us our great sons, Rohan Kanhai, Kofi and Dr. Jagan. Berbice, she gave us our great sons, Rohan Kanhai, Kofi and Dr. Jagan. Essequibo, well, with gold and diamond. Demerara City under PM Barnum. SQ Powell with gold and diamond. Demerara City under PM Barnum. You Guyana, me Guyana, land of many waters with 6 races living together. In her waters she gave us food. Banga Miri Hasa, Crimson Gilbaka. In her waters she gave us food. Banga Miri Hasa, Crimson Gilbaka. On her land she grow us bread. Planting cassava, rice and